I am Wednesday, a girl who appears somewhat unconventional in the eyes of ordinary people. I attend an ordinary high school, yet everything about the environment makes me feel alienated. One day, I discovered that my younger brother Paisley was being bullied, which deeply enraged me. Utilizing my psychic abilities, I swiftly identified the perpetrators.
The only person who gets to torture my brother is me.
My parents, Morticia and Gomez, decided to send me to their alma mater, Nevermore Academy, an institution specifically designed for those marginalized by mainstream society. They believed I would feel more accepted there and be able to discover my own place in the world. Upon arrival, we met Principal Wims, who had once been my mother's college roommate. She informed me that I was required to undergo psychological counseling, a condition I found deeply objectionable. I did not believe I required any form of psychological intervention. Subsequently, I was introduced to my roommate, Enid, a cheerful and outgoing werewolf whose personality contrasts sharply with mine. She took it upon herself to guide me through the campus and introduce me to the major student groups. Enid specifically pointed out Bianca, a popular student and resident sea monster who had previously dated Xavier, a psychic artist. My mother presented me with a necklace engraved with our initials and urged me to cherish it. However, I responded with little enthusiasm, as there has always been a sense of emotional distance between us, as the Adams family prepared to depart. Meanwhile, Sheriff Galpin learned of a mutilated body discovered near the woods of Nevermore, though the identity of the murderer remained unknown. That evening, tensions arose between Enid and me due to our contrasting personalities.
Mess with me. This kitty's got claws, and I'm not afraid to use them.
Our disagreement was interrupted by Miss Thornhill, the dormitory supervisor, who warmly welcomed us as new students. The following day, I joined the fencing club and witnessed Bianca bullying a student named Rowan. Naturally, I refused to remain passive, and we agreed to settle the matter through a duel. The match was intense, and ultimately, we both claimed victory. I proposed a military-style challenge. Later, Rowan assisted me in treating my wound and revealed that he had also struggled to fit in. Afterward, I returned to the infirmary and asked him why he had done so. He explained that we had once played together specifically, that I had rescued him from a coffin at his godmother's funeral, and he was merely repaying the favor. Throughout this time, I have been working on writing a novel, which has also reinforced my suspicion that something has been following me. After interrogating and threatening the sentient hand, I managed to secure its loyalty and command it to obey me. The next day, Principal Wims escorted me to meet with Dr. Kembet, a therapist. During the session, she inquired about my relationship with my mother. I fabricated an excuse and fled through the bathroom window. While escaping, I collided with a local farmer. At that moment, I experienced a vision of his impending death, but I did not stop. Instead, I entered a cafe named Wind Vane, where I met the bartender. He correctly guessed that I was from Nevermore. When the espresso machine malfunctioned, I offered to Taylor agreed, but insisted on driving me only after finishing his shift, so I had to wait.
What's a Nevermore freak doing out in the wild?
This is our booth.
At that moment, Sheriff Galpin, Taylor's father, arrived at the cafe. Upon learning that a girl from Nevermore had defeated 3 boys and hearing my surname, he asked if Gomez was my father, his tone laced with hostility. He accused Gomez of being a murderer. This prompted Principal Wims and me to leave the cafe hastily. On our way back to Nevermore, we encountered a fatal accident involving a farmer, an event I had previously foreseen. Although I had not yet seen the body, I accurately predicted that the victim had suffered a broken neck, which intrigued Principal Wims. During the full moon, I played a melancholic piece on the cello. Meanwhile, Rowan discovered a photograph of a girl bearing a striking resemblance to me and tore it from a book. Later, Enid and I were on the balcony together. She was curious as to why I chose not to join the party. I explained that I had no interest in such activities. When I recounted the tragic fate of my pet scorpion, she began to cry due to her inability to transform. I reminded her that tears would not resolve her problems, and she composed herself. We reached a mutual understanding, and Enid agreed to lend me her laptop. Using her computer, I contacted Taylor via video call. He agreed to meet me at the upcoming Harvest Festival and reaffirmed his promise to give me a ride. The day of the Harvest Festival, I bid farewell to Enid and evaded Principal Wims, who had been monitoring me. Taylor handed me a folder containing information about my father, shedding light on the sheriff's animosity toward Gomez. Soon after, we encountered the same bullies from the cafe, who were determined to seek revenge. As I fled, I ran into Rowan, which triggered a vision of his death. Rather than continue with Taylor, I followed Rowan into the woods to warn him of his impending fate. Unexpectedly, he suddenly attacked me, claiming that I posed a threat to everyone and that he intended to kill me. He also showed me a prophetic drawing by his mother, which depicted me as the one destined to destroy Nevermore and all its inhabitants. Suddenly, a monstrous creature appeared and attacked Rowan, freeing me from his psychic control. Rowan sustained a bite wound. After the creature departed, I approached my injured classmate and found him already deceased. A photograph was placed on his body. After all, I have experienced numerous unexpected events here, narrowly escaping death twice, discovering that my father may be a murderer, learning that I might destroy the school, and being mysteriously saved by a deadly creature. Although it is difficult for me to admit that my mother was correct, I believe I will truly come to appreciate this place.
If she ever came to Nevermore, because she will destroy the school and everyone in it.
Rowan!
I am Wednesday. In the woods, I witnessed with my own eyes an incident where a monster attacked people. Sheriff Galpin led his deputies through the woods throughout the night. However, upon arriving at Nevermore the following day, he informed me that no trace of Rowan's body, nor even a drop of blood, had been found. This directly contradicted my earlier account. Additionally, the sheriff hinted that the perpetrator might be a student at Nevermore. Principal Wims, however, remained convinced that Rowan had simply run away. I insisted on a private conversation with Sheriff Galpin, during which I expressed my belief that someone was deliberately concealing the murder. Shortly after I concluded my remarks, Luo Wen appeared in person, very much alive and in good condition. During the subsequent psychotherapy session, Dr. Kenbot questioned me about why I had falsely claimed to have witnessed a murder. I responded coldly that I was fully aware of what I had seen. After the session, I encountered Taylor, whose therapist is also Dr. Kenbot. Despite the general skepticism toward my account, Taylor expressed his belief in my story, which came as a mild surprise. Upon returning to campus, I noticed that Enid and several other students were actively preparing for the Po Cup, the annual canoeing competition. Upon seeing me, Enid, the blonde werewolf, expressed delight and remarked that I had finally decided to remain at Nevermore. She also mentioned having seen Rowan that morning and suggested that if I wished to learn more about him, I should speak with his roommate, Xavier. I noticed a watermark on the photograph I had received from Rowan, prompting me to approach Principal Wims directly and request a meeting with him. The principal informed me that Rowan had already been expelled and was preparing to leave the school. She further stated that she was aware of my ability to experience visions, a trait my mother reportedly possessed in her youth, although I did not confirm this. Finally, she encouraged me to join a student club, an offer I reluctantly accepted, though I remained committed to monitoring Rowan's activities discreetly. Following Principal Wim's suggestion, I participated in club activities. My first stop was to locate Bianca, who had been the last person I saw before, fainting the previous night. Upon realizing my intentions, Bianca immediately sought out Principal Wims to report the situation. I then proceeded to the archery club, where Xavier offered to teach me archery. He noted that Rowan had been acting unusually over the past few weeks, and warned me that Taylor and his associates were not trustworthy. I dismissed him as elitist and proceeded to demonstrate my superior archery skills. I later visited the Nevermore Hummingbird Society and met Eugene, the club's sole member. Subsequently, I attempted to speak with Rowan before his departure, but he refused to see me.
Leave me alone.
At the police station, Dongxi followed Rowan into the restroom. However, when the expelled student transformed into an older man, Dongxi, being intangible, lost sight of him and failed to detect anything unusual. In plant biology class, Bianca observed my interaction with Xavier with visible jealousy. During the lesson, we engaged in a friendly competition to determine who had greater knowledge of carnivorous plants. Meanwhile, Sheriff Galpin grew increasingly frustrated that Taylor's therapist had withheld information regarding his son's progress, suspecting that negative opinions about him were being expressed during therapy sessions. Taylor, visibly distressed, mentioned that the discussions involved his mother, but the sheriff refused to engage in the topic and abruptly left. At Nevermore, I asked Enid to cover for me so I could return to the woods for further investigation. However, the blonde girl insisted, "Unless you apologize to the creature, it has been quite displeased with your her recent attitude. After offering an apology, I confessed that my greatest fear was causing catastrophic consequences, and I was determined to do whatever was necessary to prevent such an outcome. Enid agreed to impersonate me at the beekeeping house while I returned to the woods. There, I unexpectedly encountered Taylor, who assisted me in evading the sheriff's search. I shared with him the events that had transpired after our separation at the festival the previous night. While searching the area, I discovered Rowan's glasses on the ground. Upon touching them, I experienced a vision depicting Rowan's suspicious behavior.
Didn't give it back. You could be.
More importantly, I saw the book from which he had torn the photograph. Later in the library, while searching for the book, Mrs. Thornhill noticed the watermark on the photo and offered her assistance. She identified it as the emblem of an old student organization known as the Night Shadow Club, which had disbanded many years ago. Mrs. Thornhill also confided that, as an ordinary teacher, she often felt out of place at Nevermore and advised me never to compromise my true self. Subsequently, I sneaked into Xavier's room in hopes of finding any clues Rowan might have left behind, but the only item I discovered was a mask. Before Xavier returned, Bianca unexpectedly arrived. I concealed myself beneath the bed and overheard their conversation. It became evident that Bianca, a sea monster, was displeased with Xavier's attention toward me and threatened to defeat the Ophelia dormitory in the Po Cup competition, potentially causing significant damage. Back in the dormitory, I informed Enid of my decision to participate in the Po Cup, determined to challenge Bianca in her area of expertise. The following day, during the competition, all teams employed aggressive tactics to secure victory. On the far side of the lake, I volunteered to retrieve our team's flag from the tomb of Joseph Crackstone, the founder of Jericho. Upon touching the stone wall of the tomb, I was engulfed in another vision. In it, I saw a girl who bore a striking resemblance to me but had blonde hair. She declared that I was the key. After regaining consciousness, our team and Bianca's team engaged in fierce competition, each attempting to sabotage the other. Ultimately, our team emerged victorious, as Principal Wims proudly awarded the Ophelia dormitory with the competition trophy. I stepped outside for fresh air. While resting near the statue of Edgar Allan Poe, I noticed that the statue held a book bearing the same emblem as the one in the photograph. That night, I returned to the statue, deciphered the riddle within the book, and gained access to a hidden library. Inside, I discovered a photograph of my parents, revealing that they had once been members of the Night Shadow Club. Just as I located the book from which Rowan had torn the photograph, someone abruptly placed a bag over my head.
Luckily, I'm not afraid.